Hey guys! So, next on my leaker journey, I went and visited my doctor for my follow-up for the latest patch that I had and kind of game planned what we're planning on doing next. So, in a grand total, I have had three blood patches in my lumbar and three fibrin patches in my lumbar, for a total of 6 patches. So we've pretty much decided that we've got that part covered. And when we did this latest fibrin patch in my lumbar, I didn't really notice the big difference. I thought that maybe my dysautonomia was a little better, maybe my fatigue was a little better, but I really didn't notice a difference besides the fact that it caused more sciatica on top of the sciatica I already had. So we believe that the lumbar is no longer the problem. What we do think is the problem is the thoracic area that I've spoken about, that we think is the chronic leak, the leak that was there before my CT myelogram. So that's the one we're going after, or ones we're going after next. The hardest part about these leaks is that you can't be certain what's leaking. It can look like it's leaking. It could be the culprit, but you're not necessarily positive. So we have a couple that look like they're leaking in my thoracic. So the plan is that we're basically going to attack all of the places that look like they're leaking and basically see what sticks. And if that doesn't work, then we look further, we see what else can be done, have we missed anything? So that would be the idea. So with this next patch procedure, I think we're getting a little bit more aggressive with it. We've only ever done 3 patches at a time with these procedures, where we've only had as many as 3 sticks, basically. This time we're going to be doing 4. So I'm not sure why we're doing that many. I'm kind of thinking that I just have maybe so many leaks that we're just trying to get them patched as quickly as possible, or we're wanting more bang for our buck. But I'm not complaining, because at this point I have been at the patching stage for 6 months. I've been doing this for 6 months, and I've had 3 patch procedures already, with 2 more coming up. So this has been a long road, and I would really like it to be done right about now. So yeah, we're doing 4 this time, and we're going to be doing between T5 and T6, T6, T7, T7, T8, and then they're going to be doing a catheter where they're going to go in between T10 and 11, and then actually thread it up to the base of T9. And I'll show you what that looks like. So this may be kind of a nerdy thing to do, but I really like to kind of know what I'm getting into, and I want to have all the information. So I looked at the progress notes from my doctor about what we were planning to do next, and kind of mapped it out for myself, just so I know what I'm getting into when I get there. So you have the left side, you have the right side, and so you have your vertebrae T10, T9, blah, blah, blah. And then the orange represents the discs in between. So to my understanding, this is what's going to be happening. So they're going to be going in between T6 and T7 on the left side transforaminally, which basically means they're coming in from the side. So this is what I was talking about, where they have to thread the needle literally between your vertebrae and your lung. And I've been told I have like 3 millimeters of space between my vertebrae and my lung on my right side, I think. So not a lot of margin for error. Luckily for me, my doctor is spectacular, and my doctor is spectacular, and this is what he does for a living. So they're going to be going transforaminally on the left side between T5 and T6, transforaminally between T6 and T7, transforaminally between T7 and T8, and then the perimedial, or like down the middle, from what I understand, and they're going to be threading a catheter up to the base of T9 for that last patch. So 4 needles in total. That's kind of what's going on. So it looks like he's trying to attack several different places that look like they're leaking. So between T5, T6, T6, T7, T7, T8, and he seems to think that I may have a leak at T9. Yeah, so I'm not entirely positive, but this is kind of the idea that I've got going as far as what to expect. It may be different, he may change what he plans to do, but that's what I believe I'm getting into. So that's kind of the next step, is that June 8th I'm going to be having these 4 patches. And like any other procedure, it has its own risks. Because they are threading the needle between my vertebrae and my lung, there's a chance that they can create what's called a pneumothorax. And for anyone who doesn't know what a pneumothorax is, it basically means that it's a collapsed lung. So basically what happens is that you get a hole punctured in your lung, and it can cause your chest cavity to be filled with air. It is fixable, but it's not comfortable. And the other risk factor is that because fibrin is thicker than blood, it can compress your spinal cord if they put too much in. So something that my doctor mentioned was that, usually they put 15 milliliters of blood into the thoracic, but he's only going to be putting something like 3 milliliters of fibrin in the thoracic area for that exact reason. The number he gave me was that 1 in 100 people will get a pneumothorax. So obviously those are risks. I am doing my best not to think about it because I would imagine if I think too much about it, I'm going to freak myself out, and that just doesn't help anybody. Especially, and I'll probably have to make a video at some point on this, with my dysautonomia. When normal non-dysautonomia people get stressed out, it causes their vagus nerve to activate. Basically, it's what causes your heart rate to go faster, for your respiratory rate to speed up. That fight or flight response. And so it has always been in my best interest to keep a cool, calm, collected demeanor, because if I feel any intense emotion, such as stress, it can cause my dysautonomia to become significantly worse, much faster than normal. So it's in my best interest that I just be very calm about this whole thing. And if I'm being honest with myself, I'm not a big fan of these fibrin patches. Never have been. It's really been a means to an end for me. And it seems like with each procedure, there's different risks, there's different things that we're doing that cause it to be stressful. My fear about the last patch I had was that I was going to have an allergic reaction to the fibrin. And luckily that didn't happen, but I reacted to the antibiotic that they had given me. And I never reacted to it before. The reaction was small. I had a very small rash on my wrist where my IV was, but it's that sense of unknown, of not knowing what's going to happen, of all of that uncertainty. And someone actually spoke to me in the comment section about how they feel they're afraid because there's so much uncertainty and you just don't know what's going on or who to trust or what to think or any of that. And I definitely understand that, because it seems like nothing is certain, and nothing is certain with this especially. But yeah, so there's risks, and my body just doesn't want to work with me, guys. Like, if something's gonna go wrong, it seems to go wrong with me, and I'm not sure why. But I mean, it's kind of like with the CT myelogram. People do that all the time, and they come out fine, and I just didn't, you know. So it seems like I just tend to react to stuff, and I don't know why. I just do. But that also means that there's an added sense of anxiety for me because I'm not sure how I'm going to react. My body tends to have an inflammatory response to almost everything I introduce it to over the past year. I responded to the iodine, the contrast in my CT myelogram where it caused that nerve inflammation and pain with the possible arachnoiditis. And I've found out that I'm allergic to one antibiotic, and I reacted so strongly to another one I might as well be allergic to it. And then there was another one that I reacted super bad to. So in the past year, I've added to my allergy list 3 different times as far as medication goes, not including the contrast from the CT myelogram. And I had the mast cell reaction in my first blood patch where I reacted to myself. I literally reacted to my own blood and got that rash. And then I got the small rash with the antibiotic that I'd had before. I've had this antibiotic every time I've had this procedure. So a personal fear for me is that nothing is ever certain. And just because I didn't react last time doesn't mean I'm not going to react this time. So the fear is, do I respond to the antibiotic even stronger than I did last time? Do I respond badly to the Fibrin? Do I respond badly to the, where they place the Fibrin? So all of those thoughts and fears they're here in my little heart. And I'm doing my best to have a positive attitude, and it really helps not to think about it. And I've been trying to do my best to keep busy because I am my own worst enemy, and if I think about it too much, it's just gonna be bad. But that's kind of where I'm at right now, emotionally. I want to be done. I'm really wanting to be done with this process, and I have my fears about allergic reactions and inflammatory responses as far as the medication and the Fibrin and all that stuff. And then the natural fears of the things that could possibly go wrong in the procedure. Again, I have complete faith in my doctor, but stuff happens, and you never know how you are going to respond or how things are going to work out the day of. Is this one going to be more painful? Because I did think that the Fibrin was more painful than the blood patch, but it could be that my nerves were already so angry before the Fibrin patch, that it just made it worse. So it may be that it wasn't more painful, it was just one more thing in a long line of pokes that just pissed everything off. So I am going into this thinking it's probably going to sting more, and I may feel more sore than I have in the past because we are having more injection sites. But that's kind of where I'm at, guys. As far as life goes, I'm still trying to figure out what the heck I'm gonna do as far as schooling and career and whatnot. I'm thinking that lab scientist may be in my future, but my frustration is that I have all of these credits and I've been going to college for 5 years straight. And I went from high school to college without a break. And I've got all these credits and they don't do me jack. There's a program in Texas I'm looking at, but I have at least 16 more credits to go as far as prerequisites. And I looked at UNLV and theirs was even worse. Oh God. I was going to need like an extra 2 years of schooling just to get in the program. So I'm thinking Texas is the way to go, but I'm definitely at a level of frustration because at least for the last 2 years I've either taken classes that were useless to me and or were me retaking classes. I feel like I've been either retaking classes or classes I don't need for probably the last 3 years. And I'm over it. I'm so over it. So we're moving forward at a snail's pace. As far as overall health, not a lot has changed since the last patch. I still have a lot of pain in the base of my neck. Some days are better than others. Some are god awful. And I spend the whole day with one of those heating patches on my neck, just trying to get through the day. And other days are okay. So we're kind of at an even keel right now. Things aren't worse, but things aren't better either. So my main goal right now is just getting to my birthday, I guess. It's not exactly how I wanted to spend my 24th birthday, but I guess there's worse things, and if this patch is the one to do it, then it'll be worth it, so that's where I'm at. But yes, that leaker life dough. So I will keep you guys updated. I'm sure I'll find plenty more things to talk to you guys about, and I will see you in the next video.